Guys, this video is sponsored by SimpliSafe, but we'll talk about those guys later in the video.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today I am on the CBR 500R from Honda. It is time to do a really good looking first ride. Let's get it going. Alright guys, Chaseontwowheels here at Mountain Motorsports. In front of us, like I said, we got the CBR 500R. This is a 2019 model. This is a used bike, but it has less than 2,000 miles. So, I gotta say, we've rebuilt one of these before, and it did not look this good. I think this might be a sleeper in the market. Let's see what the R7 and the Ninja 650 competition looks like, and let's get this thing started. Alright guys, that's what it looks like, that's what it sounds like. Now before I can get to riding on this thing, we are going to talk about a sponsor real fast to help make sure that we can give you guys the highest quality motorcycle reviews on YouTube. So let's talk about an ad real quick and we'll be right back.
Thanks SimpliSafe for sponsoring this video. For you guys that don't already know, SimpliSafe is an easier way to secure your home and family. SimpliSafe systems are customized to your home with a comprehensive lineup of sensors and cameras that all connect to their 24/7 monitoring service that sends help fast in an emergency. You simply go on their website and go through all of the sensors, and you just grab as many as you need to cover all the spots in your house. They've got all types of sensors that cover windows, rooms, doors, and lots of great extras like water sensors, smoke detectors, as well as cameras, both for outdoor, doorbell cams, and indoor cameras. They also just recently launched this new outdoor camera that I've really enjoyed using. Whether I'm in the backyard or at the shop, I can just pull up my phone and check in on the camera from anywhere. With all of their sensors, your home, garage, or shop is professionally monitored 24/7. If anything happens, SimpliSafe's always on team will call authorities immediately. The reason I continue to use and trust SimpliSafe is that they have no contracts. I've had really terrible experiences with other security companies locking me into contracts, and then I have to pay them to cancel it when me and my wife moved. Now I don't have to worry about that anymore with SimpliSafe. Plus, trying SimpliSafe is completely risk-free. If you don't absolutely love your system, just return it within 60 days for a full refund. If you guys are in the market for a new home security system, you can save 20% on your SimpliSafe security system when you sign up for an interactive monitoring plan, and you get your first month free. You're welcome. Just visit simplisafe.com/chase to learn more. Also, thank you guys for checking them out because it really helps the channel out. And now, back to the video.
Big old buttons, let's get this thing going. Alright guys, I am 5'10", got a 32-inch inseam, and I have bent legs right now. Very easy to handle this on the road. Get this video started, guys. I'm excited about this one. Before we get going too far, guys, if you're into motorcycles and you like Discord, I have a server for you. We have this awesome motorcycle server over on Discord. If you guys want to check it out, link in the description. It's full of motorcyclists posting photos, and we've got links to all types of our shows that people are talking to. It's kind of like the Insiders Club for motorcycling. So if you want to check it out, we'll have a link down in the description. Look at that. We just passed 2,000 miles on this thing. Basically brand new. And we're off. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here on the 2019 Honda CBR 500R. Phenomenal looking bike in this class. Other bikes in this class, we are looking at the very popular R7. We're looking at the long-standing Kawasaki Ninja 650. This bike has got a very stacked class that it has to compete against, and hopefully Honda's bringing it. Alright guys, it is regular first ride time. So first off, let's talk about body position, and I gotta give a shout out to Honda on this bike. The body position feels so good. We've got a slightly firm seat. My legs are tucked in, I would say like mildly sporty, and they're a little down, a little back. My back has a slight lean forward and my arms are kind of resting down. I'm not too far leaned over. This is about perfect for me as far as body position goes, between sporty and comfortable. I honestly love this body position, and I would not change a single thing about it. I love where my legs are. I have an easy access to the ground, but they're still tucked up enough to feel sporty. I love where my back is. I'm not too far leaned over, so I'm not going to get that backache from long riding. If you guys can't tell from the minimalist dash up here, we have no modes. We do have ABS on this machine, so not too many rider aids. All the mode is in your hand, man. You pull that throttle, you're gonna get to sport mode. Man, we're down here just weaving in and out of cars, and this bike feels like it is made to do what I'm doing on it. In city riding, traffic, the bike feels so well and so good composed as far as the weight, the power delivery. I love this thing for city riding right now. I love everything about it. Weight-wise, this bike's coming in at 423 pounds, which it does seem like a lot for a 500cc bike, but going back and forth, the bike is so well balanced, and it feels light somehow. At 430 pounds seems like a lot, but it doesn't feel like a lot here, and this bike is just really easy to throw back and forth in the lane. It makes it an absolute pleasure to ride here on the street. So guys, talking about numbers real quick, the Honda CBR 500R is looking at around 43 horsepower and I think 37 foot-pounds of torque, which numbers-wise does seem a little bit low to me. I'm not 100% familiar with what the other bikes in the class are looking at. Granted, this is a little bit lower of a CC, but so far here on the streets, I haven't had any issue with how much power the bike has. Yeah, I've got no issues in town with the power delivery, man. We've got ample power to scoot around traffic, and it honestly fits really well with the lightness of the motorcycle. I'm flicking around. I don't have too much power. The main thing I would say so far is, as far as a city riding bike, this thing is balanced super well. So I think the final word I'll say in city riding on this thing is I would not change a single freaking thing. This is one of probably the top 3 best bikes to ride around in the city, and you get a sporty look. I don't know, maybe top 2. Maybe top 2, man. Just the body position, the power, the weight, everything feels like tailor-made for doing what I'm doing right now. We're coming up on the highway though, and that could be a different story. We'll have to wait and find out. I told you guys earlier, my height and weight, my legs fit so perfectly on this bike. I'm holding on to the gas tank with my legs, and man, I could not have created better legs. They literally fit right before the gas tank has its little hump here. It fits really well, but I'm 5'10", so you've got a little bit of room. I would say up to maybe 6'1" would fit really good on this bike. And if you're under 5'10", you know, I've got pretty bent legs, so you shorter guys and gals aren't going to have a problem with this either. Man, I really like this bike right now. I like it a lot. All right, boys, got to get ready for the 40 to 80 pull. You guys ready? And go. Woohoo! Took a little long, but we didn't run into a car, so it's an absolute success. Got to make sure to give those cars a little bit more room before I do a 40 to 80 pull. All right, guys, we are officially on the highway of our CBR 500 here. Now, as far as wind goes, I can feel the wind up to about my chest level. You guys can see we don't have a huge windscreen. so there's not a ton of wind, but I can duck down and I can hide behind it pretty well, so no problems there. Here on the highway, we still got a decent amount of maneuverability, and one thing I'm loving about this bike, because of the body position, I can very easily shoulder check if I need to. But as you guys can see, we got these mirrors like 3 miles ahead of us, which do a pretty decent job. As far as power on the highway, once we get revved out, it does take a little bit of a minute to get going more power. You know, like you, to get that passing power. We still have enough to handle the highway, no problem. But yeah, in 6th gear, we can chill at 80, and it looks like we're only at right above 6,000 RPM. So bike's got plenty more power. You know, it's got enough power for you to sit at a high RPM and cruise on the highway. The throttle, I've got the lightest hold on it. I'm able to maintain my speed. No cruise control, nothing like that. So if you had to commute, you know, underneath an hour or so to work, no problem on this bike at all. Now, don't get this thing thinking you're going to be doing crazy highway runs. I don't think this thing would be good for much more than maybe 120, but that's well above what you should be going on the highway anyway. So I feel like anybody could get this and have a great time here on the highways. Nice job, little Honda. Nice job indeed. Alrighty guys, that is it for the highway. Now we get to do our fun little loopy turn. Get this thing leaned over a little bit and we'll see what it feels like. Dude, I'm so tempted to pass this guy. Well, for the 32 mile per hour turn I'm doing, if bike feels great. We are on a platform that would probably be phenomenal to get leaned over, but we will not know on this very specific road course. Alrighty guys, let's jump to the camera car, guys, and see what the guys in the camera car think about this thanks to our sponsor, Cardo.
It's kind of a price point machine, not too many bells and whistles. It's pretty no frills. They have done a pretty decent design with their bodywork update. Bike looks pretty cool. It's not a huge upgrade from the last bike, but it is definitely a better looking machine than it used to be.
This thing looks tons of fun. The price point on it surprises me. Is this kind of standard for what it's competing with? 7,200?
It is, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with these, but thumbs up for me.
Alrighty guys, in the camera car, thank you guys so much for your opinions, and also thank you, Cardo. If you guys want to get a discount on the best Bluetooth communicators on the market, link in the description down below. Thank you, Cardo, for sponsoring the show, and thank you guys for supporting Cardo, who supports us. To wrap up the power delivery on the Honda, we're looking at a parallel twin here, so your power is going to be more mid-range, and it's going to taper off towards the top of the rev range. I gotta say, I've really enjoyed the consistency of this throttle. Whether I'm on the highway, it's not yanking me around. When I'm in the city streets, it's very manageable. And if I want that real hit of power, I just got to be heavy-handed with the throttle low in the RPMs, and you've got all the punch you want. Granted, that punch tapers off a little bit. Now, as far as suspension goes on this thing, I do feel like it's a little soft for my liking, but as you guys can see, we've got dials, so we've got adjustable suspension. Let's talk about brakes real quick. We got ABS in the front, medium to adequate brakes for sure. Are they Brembos? No. Are you gonna be stopping on an absolute dime? No. Are they totally fine? Absolutely. They match for how fast you should be riding this motorcycle. Yeah, I've got no problem with the brakes, guys. Had a good feel. Could have probably given the front and the rear a little more just then. So very adequate brakes. All right, guys, so as far as transmission goes, I kind of like where the transmission is. I don't feel like I've got a taller or shorter gear. The gears are exactly where I want them to be. When I'm shifting up, I get a fantastic little hit every time I'm shifting. I know the gear I'm in, and if I don't, I got a little gear indicator here. Really like the way the transmission is set up as far as the gearing and stuff like that. I really don't got much bad to say about the CBR 500R, dude, honestly. I gotta admit, I kind of love this thing. I know people get caught up in numbers with motorcycles and they want the biggest, baddest thing, but if I'm riding a bike every day, I'm picking this thing over a 600 every single time. Every single time. All right, guys, let's talk about the cluster here of the CBR 500R. As you guys can see, not a lot going on. No modes, no switches to worry about. We do have these classic giant Honda switches though. All the switches feel fine. I get a good tactile click when I'm hitting everything. Clutch feels good when I'm pulling it in. I feel like a good medium amount of resistance on that. We got adjustable levers, which we absolutely love seeing those. Everything's pretty simple, you know. The dash here is really simple, and if it was a little brighter, I wouldn't really have that much of a problem with it. I mean, the bike doesn't have a lot of rider aids to really engage and disengage, so your tack doesn't need to be that complicated. But I have noticed that when we're getting into the sun a couple times, it is kind of hard to see when it's really bright outside. So hopefully in the 2022 model, I mean, this needs an update anyway, but if they could at least make it brighter, I feel like that's really the only kind of necessary part. The mirrors up front, the only complaint I have about them is, one, you got to chicken wing a little bit to see behind you. You know, I got to move my arm in to really get a good shot of what's going on behind me. And the only other problem, I like that they're that far away as far as maneuverability, they don't get in my way. But then if I want to modify those things, I have to full extend all the way to the front of the bike. I don't really love having to do that, but you know, realistically, you get your mirrors set where you need to for you, and you don't really have to mess with them anymore, so it's probably not going to be a worry for you guys. But as somebody that's only on the bike for, you know, an hour or two, that is a little frustrating, but you know, overall, not too bad. Very simple instrument cluster though. All right guys, we're gonna pull off real quick, and we're gonna take a look at this bike because it's one of the better looking bikes on the market in my opinion right now. Granted, you guys have had that camera car footage you guys have gotten to watch, but I haven't, and that's not fair. Alrighty guys, so 2019 Honda CBR 500R. I gotta say it, man. It is one of the best looking bikes, in my opinion, on the market right now. I love the way this looks. And yes, it is partly because it's red, but I just love this thing. The only things I am slightly not here for is the bronze on the engine, even though that's kind of a Honda thing. And this specific type of plastic does look a little cheap. I don't really mind this carbon, like the fake carbon up here, but I don't know, there's something about that plastic material that makes it look cheap. To be fair, it is a more cost-effective motorcycle, but for a cost-effective motorcycle, this thing looks so good. All right guys, I'm gonna get my camera out. We're gonna take some photos for Instagram. If you guys are on Instagram, we would love to have you join us. We are over at C2Dub Pics on Instagram. We always post photos of the motorcycles we do first rides on, and we post these really cool stabilized videos from our camera car footage. You guys should definitely check it out. But, excuse me one moment while I take some photos. All right, guys, we're going to get back on this thing. We're going to do our handlebar lock test, and then we're going to answer the question, who the hell is this bike for? Handlebars are locked. Let's see how far she goes. Not a bad job, but probably medium. Medium as far as the handlebar lock test goes. Not the best showing by far, but nothing I would complain about personally. Alrighty guys, so the big question, the whole reason you watch the video, who is the CBR 500R for? Man, what a good question. For one, I feel like this is a phenomenal motorcycle. I feel like the power is in a really good spot. It's not too much to get out of hand if you don't want it to. It's just a really easy riding motorcycle. I do feel like it might be on the top end of the entry-level motorcycle. You know, if you're first starting out, I wouldn't start on this unless you maybe have some motorcycling experience. It does have a parallel twin. It could get away from you, so I would just want you guys to be careful with that. But if you've got a little bit of riding experience under your belt, by all means, man, this would be an amazing bike to start on. If you are a daily rider, if you're somebody that's doing a lot of city, a little bit of highway, and you want to put a lot of miles on a bike, man, this is your workhorse bike. This is the bike you spend on every single day. You commute on it. You can ride on it on the weekends. I would see somebody having this bike as their main, and then they have a more purpose-built motorcycle with this. maybe like an adventure bike to do some off-roady adventures in, maybe a super sport to do track days on, and this is the bike you ride day in, day out. I feel like those are probably the two best cases for this bike, because I don't know if you guys have been able to tell it throughout this video, but I really do love this bike. I don't not like anything about it, and I don't know what I would change about it if I was to modify it. If I had a second hand, I would say golf clap in the chat to Honda for this CBR 500. And guys, that's about all I've got to say on the CBR 500R. I really appreciate you guys riding around with me. If it wasn't for Mountain Motorsports, the dealership we started at and the dealership I'm headed to, if it wasn't for them, I would not get to do these cool videos for you guys. So if you're interested in buying your next motorcycle, make sure to at least check out Mountain Motorsports. And if you do, with the link in the description, you get a discount on your bike. So make sure to check that out, guys. They've got multiple locations up here in North Georgia. So if you're anywhere in the area, definitely worth a stop by. You guys ride safe out there, and I'll see you on the next one. Later. Alrighty, outro crew, thank you guys so much for getting to the end of the video. If you did, that means you're in the outro crew. Hit that like button, drop an OC in your comments so that way I know you're in the outro crew. And let me know if you guys had to pick a daily rider, a bike you're gonna, and this is somebody that's gonna commute every day to work. If you're not picking the CBR 500R, what bike are you gonna daily? Let me know in the comments down below. We love you guys a little bit longer, and we'll see you on the next one. Later, guys.